Good morning, everyone. Today is another episode of Arks Trash, which is my podcast, which means it will be audio only. However, for my visual listeners out there, I have prepared B-roll of the Kavaris region, including purple triggers, the gorge. So there is a lot of B-roll that you guys might want to check out while listening to the podcast. Now, today's special guest is Orihime, so we do focus a lot on Twitch and YouTube type of stuff, as well as TikTok, before we actually flow into PSO2. So if you're only here for the PSO2 stuff, you can skip to the 37-minute timestamp and just listen from there, because that is when we start talking about PSO2. But if you're actually interested, maybe you're an aspiring content creator or a Twitch streamer, then maybe listen to the first 30 so minutes, because we talk a lot about Twitch as well as YouTube. Now, before we jump into the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe, as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Arks Trash. Today, I have special guest Ori with me today. Ori, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning. Hello, my name is Ori, short for Orihime. I am a cookie VTuber that streams on Twitch along with YouTube as well. And I play PSO2 along with a variety of other stuff.
All right, perfect. That's a good introduction. So tell me, what inspired you to become a cookie VTuber specifically? Out of all the VTubers you could choose, you chose a cookie.
Dude, the first VTuber I ever saw was an Apple VTuber. I didn't know that like VTubers existed. I didn't know much less that food VTubers existed. So while I was making my design, I was looking at a bunch of other VTubers, who had like really cute like animal concepts. Or like they were just regular humans. I didn't know how to draw, much less know how to color. So I just chose the two colors that were the easiest to work with, which was like black and white. What's black and white? Ha ha ha, cookies and cream. So I stuck with that concept. It's very boring.
Fair enough. But so what I want to ask is, why the name Orihime? Like, I'm assuming it had something to do with Oreos or something, or is this totally off the mark?
It is so on mark. So Hime was a name that I already used online for a while, right? But Ori is short from Oreo, and to avoid that copyright, I shortened it to Ori. And Ori, O-R-I, I thought was a really cute name. And I was thinking, like, how can I incorporate my old branding with my new one? Smash together, you get Orihime. And I mean, that's already existing and everyone knows in Bleach. Sadly, I'm not your orange hair waifu, but I am a cookie, which is, I think, second best. Yeah, that's how I came up with the nickname.
All right, fair enough. So you did say that you stream on Twitch, but I also see you just started up your YouTube stuff recently. So why is that? Why did you want to delve into the YouTube world as well?
On Twitch, I am more known in my community for certain types of games I play. On YouTube, I wanted to kind of expand it more into single player games, into cooperative games that I usually don't play on stream. Basically doing stuff that I don't do on Twitch as my main brand, and moving it to YouTube instead, where people can see, quote unquote more exclusive content. But again, I just started, so there's nothing really exclusive about it. But also with YouTube gaming, kind of providing more mechanics for streamers to use on that platform has given me more of an incentive to try YouTube gaming as well. A lot of streamers, flex back and forth, but Saikuno being the biggest one from Twitch to YouTube kind of made me think like maybe YouTube gaming could be something in the future that we can invest in. So that's kind of why I started doing YouTube as well. Yeah.
Do you treat streaming on Twitch versus streaming on YouTube differently? Is it like your LinkedIn versus your Facebook type of thing, or is it the same thing to you?
Yeah, when you say it that way, LinkedIn and Facebook, that's exactly it. Like, I mean, honestly, me on Twitch, I'm not very professional, right? Like, I'm still myself. But there's definitely a type of image you want to keep along with what Twitch can offer. So Twitch has like, subscriptions and bits and channel points and redeems and stuff like that. So you kind of act out this character on screen on Twitch. And you have all these things to help with backing it up. While on YouTube, because maybe it's because I'm new and I don't know much about it, but it doesn't offer the same amount of, streamer support as it does on Twitch. So you're kind of free to do whatever you want, which is what I do. You know, I say whatever I want, I do whatever I want. If I want to just be quiet, I can do that. There's definitely a lot more downtime too, I would say, because the traffic doesn't really go to YouTube as much as it is on Twitch, because I haven't publicly announced anything on YouTube, for YouTube at least. So I feel that my character is very much more different on a platform that doesn't have as much as Twitch.tv. If you kind of understand what I'm saying, I was kind of spewing out everything.
No, don't worry. I totally get it. So on Twitch, it's a lot more interactive, right? You've got a lot of the audience has a lot of ways to interact with you in order for, you know, to get your attention, to get you to react to stuff. But on YouTube, it's really just a little chat box, right? You don't really have that many emotes as well. So it's a little bit more tamed down. It's like a watered down version of Twitch, not as not as many crazy things going on. However, for me, YouTube is the opposite of Twitch, in my opinion, because for me on YouTube, I just upload the professional videos, you know, the quote-unquote professional videos, the LinkedIn type of videos. But on my Twitch, that is my Facebook. But for you, it's the other way around. Because on Twitch, I don't really care. I stream, like, you know, I'm affiliate, but I don't care. I don't make that much money from it. I make like, what, $100 every like 3 months or something, because I stream like, what, twice a month or something. So it doesn't matter to me, like, whatever I do. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And I think that's like how you're treating YouTube, right? And I find that really cool. I find that so cool that we have such different approaches to different platforms, even though we both are kind of aspiring the same goal, right? You guys, you want to become a very successful streamer. I want to be a successful YouTuber. And, you know, we've all got our different paths and different ways to get to the same goal, which is really nice. But what I need to ask you now is, do you think Twitch is eventually going to fizzle out and you're going to be transitioning to YouTube like with Saikuno and Ray? Or are you going to be, you know, sticking around with Twitch? Or are you open-minded? What's, you know, I want to pick your brain. What do you think?
You know, I think that Twitch is going to stay, but I think that it's going to have a lot more complaints over the coming years, just because it is very money hungry for itself, right? So like you may have heard of like the leaks and like the deets that they may be doing, in which they're kind of changing the revenue split, or they're adding more ads, and so all of a sudden you're paying for boosts and stuff like that. So there's a lot of changes that is making Twitch more unfavorable for Twitch partners, specifically because Twitch partners do earn, you know, a majority of their money from either doing sponsorships, ad revenue, subscriptions, bits, and stuff like that. But if Twitch continues to kind of do these changes that are very unfavorable for the people who are trying to make money, then in that way it can fizzle out. But the benefits of being Twitch partner, I think the checkmark holds a lot of significance in a lot of other platforms. YouTube is going to live forever too, but if Twitch implements the following things that it wants to implement, I think that it's going to cause a lot of discourse. It's going to cause a lot of complaints, and things may change depending on how many people complain against it, but it's still going to remain the same.
So a lot of people see the check mark in high regard for Twitch. When you see that check mark, you're like, oh, this person worked hard. This person actually achieved something great if they got it on Twitch. Because it's not easy to grow on Twitch. I'm not going to lie, it's hard to grow on Twitch. But on YouTube, there is the algorithm that is helping you. There is some sort of organic growth to your channel. And on top of that, when you create a video, it's out there. And eventually, it does get views over time. Versus Twitch, where you have to be live for a lot of people to actually know that you exist. Not many people, at least like I would say like 90% of people, don't go around watching people's VODs as their quote-unquote daily content. They go there and they're like, are you live? If you're not live, I move on to someone else that is live. You know, it's a different type of audience and a different kind of chemistry. So when you get that check mark and you're verified, people are like, oh wow, this person really grinded it out, you know? They put in the hours, they put in the time, and they put in the effort. I'm not saying that YouTube is no effort. YouTube also is a lot of effort to get that little check mark. However, on Twitch, I feel like it's harder on Twitch versus YouTube. YouTube, you can get it over time, while Twitch requires a lot of hard work up front. You know what I mean?
No, that is exactly it. Sorry, I am so bad at wording, but that's exactly it. Twitch requires you to put out stuff for a very long period of time. And you have, like, live. You have to put it out live. And then YouTube, like you said, it's over time, and you can gain traction. The algorithm allows for more discoverability. You know, one video goes to another, to another, to another. You're recommended every single time different stuff. But Twitch doesn't really allow that. It's kind of like you have to put in work, and you have to show work in other platforms and push it to your Twitch in order to get that viewership, in order to get that audience, in order to get that check mark eventually. So the way you put it is exactly how it is. I am so bad at wording stuff, but you put it exactly how it was. Exactly how it was.
All right, so we got to move on to something that you mentioned earlier about TikTok. So, as a lot of my audience knows, I live in China, and in China we have Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok. I want to approach this interesting topic because the way that TikTok is used in the international community versus how Douyin is used in the Chinese community is very different. The Chinese community has boiled down entertainment and marketing to the T. So when people watch a TikTok in China, it always has product integration inside it. So you're looking at funny, dumb videos just like in the international community, but on top of that, they've integrated a lot of products into the funny skits. That kind of makes sense. It's kind of like, oh, you know, are you having trouble ironing your shirt? You know, and then they put a skit out there showing someone really struggling to iron a shirt, but then they put in a product and be like, yo, you should buy this, and look, it's so much easier. Look, it solves your problem. So they create a problem and they solve the problem in the short 20-30 second skit, and it's entertaining. And thus, people end up using Douyin as a marketing tool in order to sell products. And there's a lot of influencers in China that use this in order to make a lot of money. That's actually like their main source of income is through commissions. However, on the international community, it hasn't evolved to that degree yet. However, I do think that we will be moving towards that direction over time because that's money left on the table. And people want to make money. Corporates want to make money. So they will go that direction eventually. It's just a matter of time. But do you think that since a lot of TikTokers are moving to Twitch and to YouTube and other platforms as well, do you think that will influence the Twitch demographic and the Twitch platform as well?
I do think so, yeah. And I think that companies are already starting to look at TikTok as a place to advertise and market in a more subtle way, by using bigger influencers and by using techniques that you see in Douyin a lot. And you're right. And sometimes even for TikTokers who have seen Douyin videos uploaded onto that platform, that we can't tell that it's like an ad placement, or that we can't tell that they're trying to show off something. We think, oh, that looks really cool. Where can we get it from? Subconsciously, we don't know that it's meant to be shown as a marketing technique. I think that for TikTok, it's very direct in promotion. Like if you're promoting something, if you're doing an ad, that they're gonna tell you that it is. While I feel like a lot of the Douyins that I've seen so far, at least, you know, mostly in the beauty, like makeup and clothes, they have been more subtle, and I think that may change how videos appear on the For You page, I guess. I haven't seen as much because my For You page is full of Valorant, and it's kind of disappointing.
Don't worry, I've been binging a lot of Valorant as well recently, but I play on the Asia server, unfortunately, not on the US server, because ping is quite a big deal in Valorant. But I want to bring to your attention for the Twitch platform, because, you know, obviously you spend a lot more time on Twitch. But let's look at Shroud, for example. Shroud streams, you know, FPS games mainly, and he's a cracked gamer. And that's why a lot of people like to watch him play. But recently he released like his own mouse that he collaborated with Logitech. And, you know, whenever he's playing cracked gameplay, there's always a webcam showing his hand, you know, showing the mouse. And he's just like doing all these crazy things on stream. And thus, as a viewer, it's kind of like what you're saying with the beauty thing. It's subconsciously hinting you that, yo, if you want to play as good as Shroud, you should buy whatever he's using. And I think this is something that a lot of people subconsciously want. Like, a lot of people, if you Google, like, just Google Sykkuno, and you're going to notice that, like, the second search thing is, like, what headphones is Sykkuno using? What mouse? What PC setup? What lighting? What backdrop? And you just find, like, everything that Sykkuno uses. And a lot of people will buy that stuff because they're like, yo, it worked for Sykkuno, so it should work for me, right? So this type of subconscious marketing, do you think that's going to become more and more prevalent in the Twitch world?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And even to VTubers too. They're looking to, sponsorships are looking to contact VTubers for very similar things as facecam VTubers.
So I want to switch gears and I want to talk about you. So when we first met, or when I first heard about you back in base PSO2, you know, you were relatively small. You had 1,000 followers or subscribers, and nothing, you know, it wasn't anything crazy, right? And then all of a sudden, in like a year, you just blew up. What happened? How did that start?
I have no idea. So, when I first started out, I played just base PSO2 along with Minecraft. My demographic was definitely centered around base PSO2 then, and I was also using Facecam, using, you know, JPEGs when I didn't want to do that. So that was kind of how I first started. The blow up portion happened maybe half a year. No, it happened almost a year afterwards. It was due to actually TikTok algorithm. I posted one video after I got my VTuber model. I posted one video that blew up to 100k views on TikTok, and it brought to my Twitch, because I linked my Twitch in the bio, 2k plus followers in just 2 days alone. So that was huge. I did my first stream after coming back from my vacation, and I was averaging around 50 to 60 viewers concurrent for that day, and then for a few days afterwards too, because of that blow up. I did post a few more videos during that duration of that 100k period on TikTok, and then those videos also got more views too. And so that continued to boost up my Twitch, because I was linking my Twitch everywhere on all my social media platforms, and that definitely helped a lot. Also, during that year, or after I started streaming, first started streaming, I picked up a new skill. I picked up graphic designing as like a side hobby. I met a lot of people through that, and I will honestly say that some of my growth, or most of my growth, has been through, you know, connections or friends I've made that are much bigger than I am. And I can truthfully say that I'm very thankful to be where I am because I've met these people. And so I can't just attribute it to myself. I had to attribute it to, you know, other platforms boosting up my streaming kind of career during the time. And also the people I've met helping me get to where I am. So it was the combination of using other platforms, graphic designing, which brought me to that connection with certain types of people. And then, yeah, that's kind of the main thing. That was kind of the main thing. I didn't even start YouTube then. I did not start YouTube until much, much later.
You said that you initially released like a TikTok video which blew up about your V2 model. So regarding the V2 model itself, did you make it all by yourself, or like what's the story behind the model itself?
So the design was made by me. It was made by me, but the art itself was made by my friend. Honestly speaking, she wasn't my original artist, because the original artist actually scammed me out of my money for a few months. I managed to get it back after 5 months, but because my friend knew that I wanted to do VTubing and something that I wanted to invest in, she used my design as practice, and she was the one who drew my 1.0 model and then did my upgrades to my current model. And the person who did the rigging, the one who made it come to life, was Teru, who is another friend that I've met through kind of my VTubing journey. And those two wholeheartedly have changed my confidence in streaming, because you know, having something that moves so nicely and is able to kind of express my character without having to actually show my face makes me feel very comfortable on stream. Gives me a lot of confidence to continue streaming. Gives me a lot of confidence to talk about what I want to talk about and say what I want to say and do what I want to do, because there's something that is acting as a really good, amazing medium for me. And so due to Rizari BT and also to Teru, I have been able to be where I am through using the model they made for me.
Very nice. That's good to know. So, like, regarding the model itself and the rigging and everything, if there was any aspiring VTubers out there, how much do you think that initial cost is going to cost them to make something that would be sufficient in order to start VTubing?
If you want something sufficient, you can do it for free. I'm not even gonna front with you. There are so many free options for someone who wants to start out with VTubing. Because I will tell you, VTubing and art are expensive. They are an investment. If you really want to do it, you go ahead and do whatever you want. You spend however much you want. But what people have to know is that it is an investment. It can cost you thousands sometimes for some people if they really want to VTube. But if you want to start off, you want to dip your toes into the VTubing experience, if you want to dip your toes to even streaming for that matter, there's a lot of methods to actually do it for free. So honestly, when I get questions like this from people who are chatting or other friends who are interested, my first thing is make sure you want to stream, make sure you want to be a VTuber before spending any money. But if you want to spend, go ahead. Just make sure this is something you want to do, because just know that this money you can't get back. And VTubing can have good payout, like you can be successful, but that's probability. That's a chance. It may happen. It's not gonna happen for sure. But you can definitely start with free VTubing by either one, drawing your own, and if you can't draw, that's fine. You can two, make a Vroid model, which is a free 3D modeling program you can get on Steam for free. By the way, you can make everything for free. You can change the texture, you can do so much. You can use free applications such as VC Face, VUP. You can use those to move the 3D model if you want. Like, that's completely free, and you can do just as much as a free 3D model as you can with like a $2,000 live 2D model, So there are methods out there, and there's also things you can buy for cheap on sites like booth.jp. You can buy stuff on this other site I forgot for like maybe $30 for a pre-made model that you can then change with the artist's permission, which I did for a model, and it was $30 for a fully rigged model, by the way, head to toe, fully rigged, had toggles, you can do expressions. It was $30 for everything, and the artist gave us permission to change it to however we like, as long as we gave credit, of course. So there's a lot of options you can go about VTubing, starting at very low cost to no cost, and then if you want to invest, then you can spend and look for artists on many different platforms.
That's very good insight, and it's very inspiring for people who want to become VTubers. They're like, okay, I don't have to dish out thousands of dollars or invest all this money into making a VTube model. Because something I want to bring up is a lot of people want to become a streamer, want to become a VTuber, want to become all these things, but the moment they try it out and they're not seeing any results in like the first week, a lot of people give up. So do you have any advice on people who want to start streaming in general? Like, what do you tell them? Like, do you have any experience on your side, like first-hand experience?
Oh yeah, 100%. For me, when I first started VTubing, the only reason why I wanted to start VTubing was because my friends were streaming, and it looked fun. It just looked fun. If you want to start and you don't know where to start, the best way to start is to talk like you would not be streaming. You know what I mean? It is difficult over time, just because it may require your attention. It may require, you might have to put in a lot of your time, a lot of effort. I also lost my train of thought. Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry, girl.
No worries. So the question was, there's a lot of inspired streamers as well as VTubers, right? They want to get into streaming. They want to be motivated to start VTubing and all of this. However, a lot of them give up after a week or 2 weeks because they don't see any results. So do you have any first-hand experience or advice that you could give these people?
Streaming is only for you if your goal is to not be successful. as like convoluted as it is, if you go into streaming or you go into VTubing with the intention of just wanting to make it big, like I want to make money, like this, this looks so easy, like I want to do this, then this is probably not the right path for you. If you go into streaming and you genuinely enjoy the concept of streaming and you enjoy, you know, talking to people or talking to yourself or listening to music or playing games or whatever, then this is the right path for you. The reason is because you are more likely to be burnt out and be discouraged from streaming if the only thing you're thinking of is how can I be successful? How can I be big? How can I get Twitch partner? Because those are very short-term goals. You have to be, you know, happy with what you're doing first if you want to continue doing this. It took me months to even see efforts. And the only reason why I even saw some efforts was because I was very lucky. You know, unfortunately, luck has a lot of things to do with success on certain platforms. I, for example, got a raid from, you know, a few PSO2 streamers, and that's how I got, you know, a bit of a step up myself. But you have to enjoy what you're doing first if you want to continue doing it, which is the main thing that I discovered after I was very burnt out for maybe half a year, because I was thinking, you know, I'm not getting the same viewers as before. You know, my numbers are so low. Like, it's so boring to talk to nobody. Like, why am I doing this? And I realized that what my mentality was then was that I just wanted the goal of being big, and it was kind of ruining my love for streaming that I once had. That's what I once started with too. So knowing that I just enjoy doing what I do, even if there's no one there, is what gave me the confidence to continue. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just. Yeah, rambling on and on.
No worries. This is a normal thing for any interview or any podcast with Twitch streamers or just YouTubers in general, because we're so used to filling in dead air and just like talking to ourselves that it's very normal that we just ramble on and on and on. So don't feel bad. You are not alone there. Don't worry.
Okay.
But what I want to bring to light over here is, as a streamer, a lot of people care a lot about the numbers, and you just said earlier that, you know, you got burnt out for almost half a year because you were so focused on the numbers and wanting to become big. So what changed over here? How did you stop caring about the numbers? And on top of that, I have a follow-up question on how do you handle the pressure of your audience's expectations versus what you want to do? So maybe the first question first about the numbers. How do you not care about the numbers?
It took a really long time to accept that numbers are not going to be easy. It took a really fucking long time. It took a lot of like imposter syndrome and like comparing myself to other people and thinking, why am I not like them? And it took so much negativity to get me out of that space. And the only way I did it was to realize that people who watch other people are not going to watch me for the same things. Why would, like, how do I put this? People who see me right now see me as a personality that, you know, something that they would be comfortable around, right? If I act a certain way, they're not going to come back because they are not for that. They're for the person that was before. And the person I was during the time that I was so obsessed with numbers was someone that I hated. I was so negative because I was looking at numbers and I was thinking about what can I do to make that number go up, or oh my god, the numbers are so low. And it ruined a lot of my personality because I became something that was so boring and dull that whenever I rewatched my VODs, I didn't even want to watch it anymore because it was so not like the person who was so happy about what she was doing before. So what I recommend always is that if you care about numbers and you want to stop discouraging yourself, turn off the viewer count. And it's an advice you're going to hear from a lot of other people, is that you turn off the viewership. Don't call out people, you know, play the game and fill in any silence with, you know, anything you want. It can be from humming to talking to yourself to explaining gameplay, literally anything. And look at chat, yes, but don't make it the main focus around your entire stream, because then you'll be discouraged that if there's very little people talking, that you're in your mind you would be translating that to no one wants to see this, no one's talking about it, when maybe some people just want to stay there because they like hearing about it. It's also very hard to say because it's very dependent on each person, it varies a lot. This is mainly from my experience and also some of my friends who we have like discussed about this before. So I can't say for everyone like how it's gonna be, but from my side, this is what I noticed throughout the year and a half that I've been doing this.
That's good. That's good advice. I personally turn off the numbers as well because I don't care. But then again, as I said earlier, Twitch is kind of my Facebook, right? So I don't really care at all about what happens there. But now to the second part of my question about your audience's expectation. So you said earlier that people come to your stream because they vibe with your personality or the way that you act, so forth and so on. So does that affect the games you play or, what type of mood you're in when you stream? And, does that affect any of the decisions that you make before you start your stream?
I guess that does that when you put it that way, it does affect how you stream because sometimes it's when I look at games, I'm thinking, can I stream this? That's the first question. 2, will the people who watch me like this if I stream it? And 3, is this the type of game that people were expecting to play? Those 3 questions usually come up a lot when I decide on whether or not I want to have this game be public. That's actually kind of the reason why I decided to do YouTube gaming instead, as well as Twitch gaming, because then people expect me to play certain types of games on Twitch, which is fine with me because I would usually stick with that. That's like my comfort zone. But then there are days where I know that I'd want to do other games, and that's when I switch over to YouTube gaming instead. And then so there for that, I found a good balance between that. And then making sure that some people aren't weird about it. Informing them of the situation and telling them, hey guys, I want to do this and I want to do that beforehand sometimes to give them a little filler so they're not so surprised, I guess.
So I want to lead the question a little bit to what are your favorite types of games to stream on your main platform, so on Twitch? What are like your staples? What are your best games to stream?
My staples are generally MMORPGs because they're essentially a glorified just chatting stream for me. They're a really good way for me to talk to people while I just mindlessly like grind on stream or do story or do like social stuff on stream. The second type of game I play is generally battle royales. I like battle royale games. I play a lot of Apex and I used to play a lot of Eternal Return as well. And those are fun because they're a bit more competitive, but they're just very enjoyable, and it's also a good way for me to kind of interact with my community because then you can invite them or that you can play against them, so it does allow for rivalry or cooperative play from streamer to streamer's chat. The third type of game I like to play is FPS. So I've played Valorant and I've also played Halo Infinite on stream. And those are the 3 MMORPGs, Battle Royales, and FPS. And coincidentally, those 3 are kind of the bigger genres on Twitch stream too.
What caught my attention is you separate Battle Royale with FPS. So can you tell me why there are 2 different categories for you?
FPS is more cooperative and serious and very cringy how much I can mold over it because it's just so annoying to lose. While battle royales are more fun. Yes, there can be competition, but it's definitely more fun. If you lose, next game. In FPS games, it's generally if you lose for a very long time and it stalls for like 40 minutes. So the difference is the kind of the seriousness that goes into it, I guess.
Okay, I get it. So you kind of treat battle royales kind of like TikTok. It's like, oh, you don't like it? Swipe, next one, right?
Exactly.
I getcha. All right, cool. Because I personally suck at battle royales. That's one thing that I don't play. So I'm very centered around things I'm good at. The games that I enjoy playing are the games that I'm good at. And any of the games that I suck at, I don't like playing because I hate losing. Unless I'm losing like with a group of friends and we're just having a big laugh about it, then sure, it's fine. But essentially, when I play a video game, I want to get good at it to a certain degree. So if I suck at it and I just continue to suck at it, I will most likely drop the game. So like strategy games, I don't really play. Battle royales, I don't really play because I'm just not good at those type of games. But I need to ask you, are there any games that you play exclusively off stream?
The games that I typically play off stream are very big games. How do I say it? A lot of people like games like crab game, crab game. Was it that game?
That's the one that's kind of like Squid Game, right? But it's
exactly.
fan-made version.
Exactly. Like it's crazy. It's a lot of people. Don't Starve Together. It's a lot of people. It's crazy. What else do we have? Like I don't know. Just games that involve a lot more people than just 4 people. Is because my brain cannot compute having a lot of people talking at once, and that's why I don't do much collabs, because I feel very bad when it comes to not being able to separate my attention. And so I like to play these very busy games off stream and horror games off stream because I'm very bad with horror. So those are exclusively for like Discord or for YouTube and stuff like that. Those are stuff I don't usually have on my main platform.
I get you. I'm exactly the same way. When there's more than 4 or 5 people in a call, I just don't talk. I just shut down. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just vibing. I'm just here to listen because I don't know when to talk and when to like interrupt people and save my piece. And so I just listen. But like in a podcast when it's like one-on-one or like there's 2 people in the call, it's a lot easier to manage and everyone kind of takes their turn talking. So I prefer that over, massive group calls. But for me personally, games that I play exclusively offline are like those RPG type of games. So like Final Fantasy VII, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Monster Hunter Rise. Like these type of games, I like to play off stream because I want to just enjoy the moment. I'm not here to entertain anyone. I'm entertaining myself, right? And those games are the ones where I just turn off stream. I just want to play because I know that my audience usually tunes into my streams or my YouTube videos because they want to be entertained, they want to learn something, and that's kind of like my niche. I usually make guides and stuff. But when I'm playing these games, it's like, no, you're not learning anything. I'm not teaching you anything. I'm not even going to talk to you. I just want to enjoy the game. And that's why yes. I just turn off the stream because I'm just like, bro, they don't deserve to be treated like that, right? My audience. So I just turn off the stream. I'm like, listen, I'm going to be playing this game, but I want to enjoy it. So I'll see you guys next week or something, right? And that's what I do. And that's why I was wondering if there were any games like that you did. But you seem to be the exact opposite. Like the more people there are, the bigger the collabs or whatever, that is when you shut down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm sure my audience is probably mauling over how we've talked 40 minutes and we haven't even touched PSO2 yet. So we're going to jump into PSO2 now.
Let's go PSO2.
Exactly. So I got to ask you, the first question is, what got you into PSO2 to begin with?
It was an accident.
Okay, fair enough. Elaborate.
So what happened was that I was actually in an MMO mood. I really wanted to play an MMO with my friends. So the first thing that literally the night before, I installed Black Desert and I played with my friends, my 3 other friends and 2 people who I met for the first time. And they actually helped me grind and BDO, which is that we were in the same party. I ran around circles, they killed stuff, and I got EXP and I leveled up. That was fine. It was maybe around 3 a.m. in the morning that those 2 friends said, hey, there's a game that's coming to PC soon. It's coming in the morning actually. You want to try it out? And I'm like, yeah, what is it called? It's called Phantasy Star Online 2. It was in JP for a while. And I didn't know anything about the game. I knew nothing about the PSO universe. I searched it up on YouTube. I thought the gameplay was like it's definitely more different than what I'm used to. It was more techy, it was more cyber. It wasn't as like medieval, because the games that I play were typically more fantasy based, very much different, very, very different vibes. So what drew me in was that I love it. I love the start of an MMORPG. I think the start is always the golden hour. It's the best period because everyone's getting on. everyone wants to do everything. Everyone wants to know what's the meta, what's min-maxing, you know, what are they gonna offer? How can we complete the game the fastest? So, I mean, that's what pushed me to download it too, because like I like the start. Why not just join for a little bit and see how it is? There's no harm in it. It was free. It was like not harming me in any way. The only thing was that it was like 73 gigabytes, which was fucking huge for the games that I played then. And that was kind of how I started with Phantasy Star Online too.
Okay, cool. So you played regular PSO2 for quite some time, and then NGS was announced and NGS was released. What about your transition from base game into NGS? Was it a good experience, a bad experience? Did it meet your expectations? What were your thoughts?
It was half and half. It was half and half. I was so fucking excited about New Genesis when they first announced it, because it's like they're adding more content and new content. That means that both us and NA and I mean in global and people and JP could experience this all together. Like it's gonna be fresh. But because it was during that period where there was a few months of without content, like a few months just staggering. People were not streaming anymore. People weren't getting on anymore. That, you know, it was really exciting, but at the same time that we weren't getting the same hype as before. And so for me, the transition was easy because I played it before. You know, I played base PSO2 for a copious amount of hours. And so the only thing was that I didn't get the same high because there was not as much of the community that was there when I first started. So I think that what also brought me so close into base PSO2 was that there was such a huge group of people that we made. You know, there was Alliance that was so active that it made it easy and fun to play the game daily. While the start of New Genesis, yes, it was amazing, but there wasn't the same type of support as base.
Yep, I fully agree. When NGS was first announced and released, my initial impressions were amazing for like the first 3 days to a week, and then after that it fizzled out, and I was kind of like, wait, is that it? Wait, where's the rest? You know, I kind of had those questions running in my brain. But you know, the main thing that I really liked about NGS was the graphics. The graphics in the base game was extremely off-putting for me because I played games such as Blade and Soul and Black Desert Online before I transitioned to base PSO2. And you've played BDO, you've seen the graphics over there, the freaking models, the world, everything is freaking beautiful. And then from that, going into freaking pixel art of PSO2 or the base game, you're just like, what is this garbage? And so when NGS was released, I was like, wow. Like the first time you went to South Alio, you saw those waterfalls, the pink grass, all of that. You're just like, oh my goodness, this world's beautiful. And that was a really nice moment. It was just like, wow, this game looks freaking awesome. But as you said, you know, there wasn't a lot of content to do. So you're in this beautiful world, but you had nothing to do in it, and you're just kind of like, well, you know, you can make it even more beautiful, but it ain't gonna do shit because there's nothing to do. So I definitely felt what you felt, very half and half about it. But recently, you know, it's been a year since NGS has come out, and they are about to release their third region, Kavaris, and there's a lot of really good news about it. But I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the headline?
Oh, I really liked the headline actually. This time around, I really liked it because I mean, first of all, it's so fucking exciting that we're gonna be going into a whole new region, something that we've been expecting since the start, something that we thought was coming out first, but we got Retem instead. We're getting more story on top of that. We're getting things that I didn't expect to see in MMO. What was really interesting to me was that they mentioned you taking damage from the environment. I thought that was a really fresh concept. There are some mixed reviews. I've read some on Twitter, I mean, but I think that's so fucking cool. I thought that they revealed just the right amount of stuff, and I'm really excited to see where else they go with the new region. I really like the headlines. I just really liked it. I was watching it with some friends in Discord, and we were going nuts. I'm telling you, over the new weapon release, over the new trials, over the new city that's coming to. Questions that we had, for example, was like, is there going to be a new concert? Because I thought having the new region with a concert was really nice. Is there going to be a new concert? Is there going to be, you know, waifu NPCs there? Obviously, is there going to be a new trigger that's going to be appearing there? What kind of UQ is going to pop up with using that kind of snowy atmosphere? Like, what else are they gonna do? And it gets us. It was really exciting to see them adding much more stuff.
Yep. So, you know, if you had to pick your one most favorite thing about the NGS headline, what are you looking forward to the most in the Kavaris region?
I want to be this. I want to go into the city. I want to see the city. I really liked how they swapped out the humanoid NPCs for robots. I mean, just a little bit of change is like, I just thought that was really interesting, and I'm really interested for them to kind of incorporate that section into the story. I want to see how life has changed. I want to see what made it change, and it makes me interested in seeing what the main story is going to be like from now on.
For sure. It seems like you really enjoy like the lore and the world building about just like all games that you play, is it? Or is it just specifically for NGS?
Specifically for NGS and base PSO2, I would say. I do enjoy lore in general, but because this one is a bit more straightforward lore, I think that it's definitely more around my alley. My brain is super small, so I can't compute like very small, like a lot of things at once. So for example, the Genshin story, FF14, amazing, beautiful lore. My brain is just too small to handle everything. While this one is a bit more easier to kind of accept story, you know?
I'm glad that you mentioned Genshin. So you've played a little bit of Genshin, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so as you may or may not know, PSO2 or NGS in general got a lot of inspiration from Genshin Impact. So the whole freezing mechanic that we saw in Kavaris, that is actually something that Genshin introduced way back like 2 years ago, which was a really cool mechanic. But a lot of people hated it in Genshin because you're constantly taking damage and you're trying to get from point A to point B, and you're like, God dang it, how do I do this? And there was a lot of people which really struggled with that content. And I can definitely see a lot of people struggling through the new content as well in Kavaris. But I think Sega thought about this and thought it through because, you know, NGS is catered towards the more casual folk compared to a base game. Base game was extremely convoluted and giga-brain with your augmenting and all of that stuff. But they really streamlined it, simpled it, you know, dumbed it down, I guess you could say, so that casual players can, you know, any sort of player could enjoy the game. So in regarding the damage over time in this freezing area, they made it so that you can get a buff from like food buffs, from region mag, you can exchange things to get like immunity to that cold damage for a certain amount of time. So they really made it a lot more streamlined so that the average player, if you want to explore this really cool area, you can still do it relatively easily, which is extremely nice.
I also saw they had a new augment for it too, right? That gave you both the was it the reduction for damage taken over time along with like either potency or something like that? I forgot what it was, but I saw there was a new augment for it too.
Exactly. There's this new augment which gives you 2.5% potency, which is, you know, that's best of the best right now. All the augments we have right now, at the max, it's 2.5% potency. But on top of that, it also gives you, I think it's like 25% resistance to decold. That's huge. That is huge.
That's exciting. I'm excited for it. I'm super excited for it.
Heck yeah, nice. So I need to ask you some critical questions. The first one is, have you tried the Geometric Labyrinth yet?
One time, and it was the saddest time of my life.
Why was it the saddest time of your life?
I was so lost. I didn't know where I was doing. I didn't know where I was going. I was with one other person who was trying to help me.
It's all good. So something that I want to bring to, not really to anyone's attention, but something that I want to mention is I feel like you are a very good representation of like the very average casual player. Because from what I see, you don't play NGS that often. NGS isn't really your quote-unquote main game per se.
I am a very casual player though. I have less than 2k hours in total for both base and for New Genesis. But I don't like, what is it called? I don't focus on min-maxing, I don't focus on leveling. I focus on having fun and then getting off. That's it. I don't try to push myself to do something. To finish the game, basically. I'm playing this game very casually, you know. When I have time, when I have day off, if I want to play with friends, I get on, I play, and then I get off. It's wonderful to me because I'm not pushing myself, because I simply enough don't understand and I don't have enough knowledge of the game and of augmenting it and fixing and, you know, specific places where things spawn to like play so seriously. You know what I mean?
I get it. I feel like the way you're treating PSO2 or NGS is the same way that I treat Genshin. I treat it like a side game. You know, when I've got extra time, when I'm bored, when I'm in that mood, I'll launch it up, I'll play it, and then, like, you know, 30 minutes to an hour later, I got my fix, and then I can turn off the game and I'm good to go again, right? Is that how you feel NGS is like?
That, but like make it a few hours, and yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you take a little bit longer to get your fix, but yeah. So I totally get what you're hinting at or what you mean there. So the main thing that, or the reason why I brought up this question or this conversation is because I want to ask you, as a streamer, as a entertainer, what do you think NGS should change in order to make the game a little bit more streamable or easily watchable or consumable from a viewer's perspective?
You know why some people prefer going in base PS2 than New Genesis right now, even with New Genesis having stuff? It's because base PS2 offers so much more social stuff to do. And I mean that in terms of personal quarters. I mean that in terms of the casino, in terms of the cafe where people are able to sit and just talk. Like, those are fun times because it allows for such a nice social environment, right? For me to be able to stream the game more, I want there to be something that is either very hard to do or something I don't have to do at all. Like, I can just go to the casino, or I can do like a very hard, like solo, like I can do Primordial Darkness or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, having just different options. Because right now it's very streamlined. You do your side quests, you do your main quest, you have an urgent quest every now and then. You know, that's really about it. But you're kind of missing that social aspect. You're kind of missing that difficult aspect of it. Everything is obtainable right now, but where is that like going through 100 levels? Where is that, you know, I don't know, 4-man like Deus run, you know what I mean? Like that to me made it more fun to stream, because you're either always on the edge of your chair, or you're relaxing in the chair. And that's what makes it really fun.
I gotcha. Yeah, for sure. That's something that I fully agree, because, you know, for me personally, I have a different perspective from the game because I enjoy combat. So for me, I'm definitely the type that, you know, would like the rank 2 of like Dark Falls that's coming out, right? That's a 4-man version of Dark Falls, level 60. It's going to be the super hard content. That is something that has me riled up. I'm ready for that. But I totally understand that there are people that just want to chill. You know, there are times where you don't need to always be fighting things, right? But in NGS, it seems like that is the core concept of the game, right? Everything revolves around combat. You're either killing dread enemies, you're killing tames, you're farming for capsules, you're in combat zones, you're in the pyramid. Everything is fighting, 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 fighting. And so there's no content where it's like what you said, you know, the casino, the cafe, where it's just like, yo, this is a great place for a screenshot. Yo, everyone get over here. You know, we can take screenshots here. Yo, you know, this is a casino. We can just kind of just have fun and play and just, you know, shoot the shit basically. And yeah, I totally agree that there are times where I'm just like, bro, I've been grinding for like 16 hours straight. I'm burnt out. I need a break. And like, you know, I just want to sit down, deflate, and just like be a potato. But
Yeah.
you can't really do that in NGS right now. Sure, you could sit in the lobby, but it's not the same, right? Sitting in the lobby
not the
versus
same.
sitting in like Franca's Cafe or sitting in a casino, it's very different, you know? So hopefully the whole like parkour thing, the time trial thing, as well as, you know, the different trials coming up, maybe they'll spice things up a little bit. But I do think that we need a little bit more of non-combat related type of content.
And also bringing it back to what I said before, being a very casual gamer, I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to like everything in New Genesis, you know, why people want to do certain things, why they want to grind for hours for one augment. Like for me, I just don't know about it, which is why I don't do it, and which is why I think that, you know, having that social aspect for players like me who don't really want to do or don't really know about the things, you know, we can just like do other stuff meanwhile. Like we can have our own type of a game style, like a very slow, much more slower game style. I think it'd be great to have for New Genesis in the future.
The next question I have for you is probably the last question, or the last question that I have prepared. And that is, since you've blown up to such a, you know, you're quite the big streamer nowadays, has that changed the perspective in how you view streaming and content creation at all?
I definitely learned that there's much more ways to do streaming, or to do content creating than just streaming. That's probably the hardest part, knowing that I had to do more than just go live, you know. That was really difficult to accept. But I've learned a lot about how different people kind of react to you once you've grown bigger, seeing people changing over time, seeing yourself change over time. The biggest thing that changed in my perspective was how hard people have it. Yeah, it's difficult to content create. I have a lot of admiration, a lot of respect for those who choose to do content creation, even as they're for their full-time job. Like, this is hard. It's really fucking hard. Excuse my language, but seeing people go hours and hours recording things, editing things, you know, planning things, looking at insights and making stuff, thinking of new content to do, like it is really hard work, and it's really tough work. And for those who even do things alone, all these things, like they're fucking amazing. Streaming is hard and content creating is hard, which is why those who eventually would like to see results, putting in effort. It's difficult, but you do have to put in effort to get to where you want to be. What I do now is that I have a full-time job, so I have a full-time job outside of content creation, and it's been really fucking hard to do both of them. So knowing that people do this full time, like, it's like mind-blowing. Yeah, people work hard to be where they are.
I totally agree. I'm in the same boat as you. I have a full-time job on top of what I do, and since I do daily uploads on YouTube, it's quite the hectic schedule, because with YouTube videos, you know, I understand that my audience has a very short attention span. And so when I record a video, maybe I ramble on a lot and it's like a 20-minute raw recording. I always have to cut that down to like 5 to 8 minutes. And so there's a lot of fluff that you need to cut out. And there's parts that you need to redo or retake, because it's like, oh, I can explain this in shorter. And so you're constantly improving your art for the YouTube algorithm. That's like, okay, you know, we got to make it more concise, more front-loaded. It's got to be interesting. It has to be entertaining. And it's all of these elements combined together. And so even though the recording itself only took like 30 minutes, but the editing takes like 2 hours, because you got to put in like your music, you got to put in special effects, you got to put in filters, you got to fix the audio. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into editing, which a lot of people don't see. A lot of people see my videos and they're like, oh, Kara records 8 minutes a day and boom, there's a video. And it's like, sure, not really. And, you know, I'm sure with streaming it's exactly the same, right? With streaming, a lot of people don't see the amount of work that you put in, like the pre-planning of like, okay, so before I hit live, you know, what is my schedule gonna be? What is my weekly schedule gonna be? What am I gonna be talking about? What am I gonna be playing on each day? And there's a lot of pre-preparation that a lot of people don't see. The part that people do see is like, oh, I click go live and look, I'm here. Yeah, yay, entertainment for 2 or 3 hours and then end stream. That's what they see. And so a lot of people assume that, oh wow, streaming's so easy.
If you don't mind me kind of adding on to that, regarding my own personal experience with, I failed a lot. I failed a lot in my career as a streamer, and I failed because I had really low self-confidence. I had really low self-esteem. I didn't like what I did. I didn't like how I acted. I didn't like what I made. So there was a lot of low points that people didn't see. And so that's why when I see that everything she touches turns to gold. It was, for me, it's a bit hard for me to accept that because I feel like I still haven't done enough. I still haven't done that much. Well, I mean, right now, thankfully, I am in a very good place. Like, I feel very happy with myself. I have self-confidence in what I do again. But there are definitely a lot of points that people don't see, and things that that are covered, that didn't really show what has happened over the past year and a half of doing all this, for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no worries. It's important to let people understand that, as a content creator or as a streamer, your life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. We're normal people as well. Just because we get a lot of people who watch us on YouTube or on Twitch or whatever does not make us godlike beings or special influencers or whatever. We're just a regular person, just like everyone else. And so because of that, we all have our little struggles in life and our problems and stuff that we need to work through slowly over time. But something that you stated was a low self-confidence. What changed that? What enabled you to be able to overcome that challenge?
It is related to a question that we had before, was how do we not let numbers dictate kind of your life, right? A lot. I would truthfully say that a good bunch of my self-confidence kind of revolved around that. Numbers were dictating everything about what I did. When I explained how I started to ignore it, that's when my self-confidence started going up, because I realized that I can still be myself and get to where I want to be. My second thing was continuously pushing to improve myself. If I didn't like what I did today, maybe I'll like it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do something that's good in 3 days. Maybe in a week that I'll be better than I was a week ago. Having that kind of mentality where there is always better, for sure. There's always going to be a better day. There's always going to be a better chance, or there's going to be a bigger chance, or this is achievable. Just telling myself that and giving me that confidence to push myself forward. And through that, getting that confidence push from other people, for example. Like, for God's sake, I had Scarro who came to my DM saying that I should increase my prices. Like, that was another confidence booster. Having people in even Twitch chat saying, like, I'm waiting for your commission to open so I can get something, that pushed me up. Having people say, like, because of you, like, I started my graphic design journey as well, and they're having fun with it. That was another confidence pusher. It does revolve around the people that I've met and the friends I've encountered and the experiences that I had with these people that has broken me out of this, like, ever cycling, like, negativity. Yeah, it's been a very different year, for sure.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you are out of your stump and that you are blossoming now. You're successful, you're doing good. That's really nice to see. But do you have any final thoughts, or do you have any other topics that you want to talk about? It's all yours now. I'm done.
I'm like, I don't. Can we just focus on you instead? I guess I hope that everyone continues to support Phantasy Star Online 2 and also Keroppi's channel, right? Because Keroppi and Phantasy Star Online 2 both deserve a lot of love and a lot of attention and so much support, because they have both provided so much to the community around them. PS2 gave me a reason to start streaming and to continue streaming, and meeting Keroppi and meeting so many other PS2 creators have got me to where I am now. So I want everyone to show so much support to all the creators and to the game itself, and of course to the person who is talking to me right now. Please support them.
All right, perfect. So another thing that friendly reminder from your PR team, where can people find you? Do you have a Twitch, all of your social links, stuff like that?
You can find me streaming on twitch.tv/Orihime, not the Bleach character, just the cookie. You can find me on every other platform: TikTok, Twitter, Card, YouTube as Orihime VT, Orihime VTuber. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So as usual, all of Ori's social links will be in the description below because I know you guys are too lazy. So you just click on it and make sure to send her a follow or subscribe or whatever, and support your favorite VTuber. But that is it for today's episode of Arks Trash. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
What can I say except you're welcome for the here